ask you a question. What do you desire? What do you want? It might be wealth, some kind of material possession, pleasure, so that your test will go well, a partner, some kind of job. What do you want? Let's say, let's say that you just have it. You got that thing. Okay, now what? What will you do next? You will probably have another desire. Maybe you want a better car, better friends, whatever you want. Okay, you also have that. Now what? You got it. Now what? What you're going to do next? You know what? No, let's actually say that you have this special room, you see. And this room is filled with buttons. And you see, you could get anything that you want at a click of a button. And there's a button for everything. There's a button for wealth. There's a button for all sorts of pleasures imaginable. There's a button for food, for orgies, for anything that you want. You could go everywhere wherever you want. Everything is under your control. You could get anything that you want just by the press of a button. There's a button for everything. Now, what would you do in that situation? I mean, you can probably relate, but I would definitely go around pressing all sorts of buttons, fulfilling all of my wishes and dreams and wants and having all sorts of pleasures and imaginable. And you would probably do the same thing, having the best time of our lives, pressing all the buttons, everything that you want. We have it. We have everything under control. And after doing that for about a year, all sorts of pleasures, parties, every single day, everything that you want. After around a year or every single day, 24 hours of doing that, you will start getting bored of it. Because you start getting used to all that pleasure. You need something more potent and more potent. But of course, there's a limit to that. And also because you have everything under control, there's no excitement in it. You already know what's going to happen. You see, it's when you're playing chess and you already know that your opponent is about to win and he has a checkmate in 5 moves. You're not even going to play those 5 moves because you already know the outcome. It's not fun. There's no excitement in it. So you start getting bored of it. And then suddenly you notice this button that you haven't noticed before. And this button is labeled surprise. And it gets your interest because you haven't had a surprise in ages, you see. You had everything just by a click of a button. And then you press that button and everything goes blank. And then you wake up and here you are watching this video. So you see, having everything under control is a false ambition that we have. What we truly want is a surprise. Something that we don't know what it is going to be. And you see, when we ask, okay, what kind of surprise? Well, you can't say a pleasant surprise, because you can't have a pleasant surprise without an unpleasant surprise. And you see, isn't this interesting that if we had the ability to have everything that we want, everything under control, we would end up where we are right now. And this story, this idea, brings me a lot of peace actually. You see, whenever I'm worrying about things not going my way, I remind myself of this story. And I remember that, you see, I already have what I want. A surprise. I already have it. The fact that I don't know what's going to happen next. Because if you see, everything went the way that I wanted it to go, things would be boring. Life would be boring. This is what gives life some spice. That we don't know what is going to happen next. There's another story that I wanted to share with you if you're interested. It's very similar to this. It's from Alan Watts, and the other one was also from Alan Watts. I heard it from Alan Watts, and I really recommend you to check him out. He's a great speaker. He talks about a lot of interesting things. I recommend you to check him out, Alan Watts. And he also told another story, same idea, same concept, but told in a different way, very interesting. So it goes like this. Imagine that every time that you went to sleep, you could dream any dream that you want for any amount of time. You could have all sorts of dreams, and your dream is completely under your control. And you see, if you had this ability, you would probably go around, having all sorts of dreams. And by the way, these dreams could seem as real as possible. You have total control over it. And of course, you probably would go around fulfilling all of your wishes and dreams and wants, having all sorts of pleasures. You see, after like having all sorts of wild dreams, after like 3 months of doing this for like 70 years, every single night, you would probably start getting bored. I mean, just as we said, why will you get bored? Because you get bored of all that pleasure, you get used to it, and it's kind of gets boring because everything's under your control. You know what's going to happen next. You start getting bored of it after like 3 months, 70 years, every single night. So then, you would spice it up a little bit. You would arrange your dreams in such a way that there would be some parts that wouldn't be under your control, that would surprise you. You see, maybe you would add some characters into it that you don't know what they will do next. You don't know how they would respond to you. Or maybe you would go around having some adventures, saving the princess, and you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And then you wake up from that dream and say, "Whew, that was exciting. I barely scratched by. Let's have another dream like that." And then you would go on having more and more adventurous dreams, going far and more and far out, or how you say that, putting more risk into it and having things get more out of your control. And you see, eventually, you will dream the dream of you watching this video right now, me talking to you and you sitting there watching this video about me talking to you about some dreams. So you see, it's the same idea, and I find this so interesting, you see, that if we could dream anything that we would want, if we had the ability to have total control over everything, we would end up at the same place where we are right now. Because you see, no one wants to be God. No one wants to control everything. But you see, if you had all the power, you might say, I would use it for the common good. But how do you know what people want? Like, how do you know what other people want? Like, you see, you might ask, if you had all control over everything, and you might ask from someone, I have all the control, I could give you anything that you want. What do you want? The same story. Like, we don't know what we truly want. And you see, this story makes you question, like, what do you really want? And this is such an interesting question. What do you desire? If you really think about this question and think it through, you might get to the point that I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. Like, it's so interesting. Because you see, okay, let's say you want that. Okay, you got it, now what? It's always that question. Okay, you got it, now what? And it's such an interesting topic. You see, it's so interesting that it's in those moments when we're not desiring anything. When we're just sitting there, twiddling our thumbs, rocking back and forth in our chair, just looking out, not doing anything, doing this for no purpose at all. For no reason, just doing some nonsense, just twiddling our thumbs. In those moments, we feel the most complete. In those moments, we are whole. We feel like content. It's like we're not lacking anything. We're not desiring anything. Because you see, when you desire something, you are like instantly in a state of lacking. Because you don't have that thing, and I want that thing, and I don't have it. And once I get it, then I can relax or something like that. But it's in those moments when we're not desiring, when we're just there, content, sitting there, not doing anything, not having any purpose in mind, just sitting there, doing nothing, just wandering somewhere. So in those moments, like, we feel alive, we feel whole, we feel complete. Very interesting stuff, very interesting. And now, if you're interested, some other things that have helped me to not worry or stress about the future or what's happening to me right now. First is the idea that whatever happened to you, you do not know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. I made a whole video about this, you can check it out. It's called The Story of the Chinese Farmer or something like that. I'll leave a link to it in the description. The basic idea is that whatever happened to you right now, you don't know if it's good or bad. You don't know the outcome of that. You don't know what the outcome will be of that situation. And you see, when you ask the outcome, you see, for how long? The outcome tomorrow, the outcome 1 year from now, the outcome 10 years from now. And also there are just too many variables that come into play when thinking about the future, and it's just so unknown. You don't know what it would have been like otherwise. So you can check that out. And I talk there in that video about a great story about a Chinese farmer. Very great video. Highly check it out. Highly recommend it. Very cool concept this is also. And the other one is that you never really know if you made the right decision. You never know if you made the right or wrong decision. And this is very similar to the first thing that I was talking about, that we don't know whether or not something is good or bad. Just in the same way, we don't know whether or not we made the right or wrong decision. Because how do you know if you made the right decision? Well, based on the outcome. But how do you know if the outcome is good? There's just too many variables that come into play. You see, maybe it seems good right now, but 10 years down the line, you realize that it was an awful decision. Or maybe it seems bad right now, a couple of days or months down the line, turns out to be a great decision that you made. You never know. So instead of trying to make the right decision, make the decision right. Focus on that, on what you could do right now. So thank you for watching this video. I really find this idea interesting, you see. What do we want? What do we desire? Like, it's such a simple but yet such a hard question to answer. And also, if you think about it in another way, it's a simple question to answer. I don't know what I want. Like, I just don't know. I just want to, go around, be in nature, do some kind of stuff with people, do stuff that I like with people I like. I don't know what I want. It's such an interesting question. So, hopefully this video was helpful and you was able to learn something new from this video. And if you're interested, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email and we'll arrange a video call and you can ask me anything that you want. We can have a chat. So leave my email in the description. And also, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll happily answer. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. All the love towards you. Have a great day and goodbye.